Okay, the other day I was watching Pinocchio, 2022 film Pinocchio. I know nothing about directors. I know nothing about the production. I don't know those details. Okay, 2022 film Pinocchio. Give it a goog. And I've just picked up on this message throughout the whole thing about manifesting, because everyone knows in the story of Pinocchio, he's a puppet and wants to be a real boy. That's all Pinocchio is. Everyone wants to be a real boy, right? So in the movie, and I need to read the original story, the original Italian story, and find out more information, because I want to deep dive into this. But it's a quick thought. This blue fairy comes in. She brings the puppet to life, and then the puppet's like, well, I want to be a real boy. So she said, to be a real boy, you need to be truthful, you need to be selfless, and you need to be brave. Those are all the things you need to be a real boy. She doesn't tell him to do actions. She doesn't tell him, like things that, are in a way like active in his environment. She gave him qualities to embody to become a real boy. And then she assigns him a conscience, because he doesn't have one. So a temporary conscience for him to listen to until he grows his own conscience. And of course, throughout the whole movie, he doesn't listen to his conscience. I think I read somewhere that he even kills the cricket in the original story, and forces himself into isolation. And he has to, but that's because he didn't listen to his own conscience. And then he does become a real boy by becoming brave, by being truthful and selfless. But he gets put through a series of things, right, where he gets to make a choice. He gets to make a choice to listen to the conscience or not the conscience. And of course, he's going to argue with his conscience, going to argue with him, be like, I don't know. And then he'd be like, I'm sorry, I didn't listen. And then, back and forth. And I think this has to do with manifesting, because when you're manifesting, if you're trying to manifest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but manifesting is a lot of the big thing most people say is to embody it, right? You're supposed to, if you want a certain job, go every day, act like you're working that job. What would your day look like if you worked that job? Where would you live if you had that job? What could you afford with the money that you made during that job? And living that way. And it's not to be reckless, but it is like thinking in the intentional mindset of what qualities am I embodying that is going to take in that job. It's a choice. It's a choice to make to have that job or be in that position or that relationship. Like, what are the qualities you want in a relationship?